Good evening and welcome back. My name is Abdikhayr Soofe and I'm your host for this second segment of Global Columbus. With me tonight, we'll be talking about the Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services Annual Conference. And with me tonight is Michael Austin, who is the youth coordinator with the ETSS. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Tigist Desta is a choir coordinator and trainer with the Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Ibrahim Sow is the president of African United Organization of African United. He is also affiliated with the Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you can join us for this conversation by calling us at 614-645-6557. It's a live show, and we're glad to have you on board as well. Now, before we get started, let me ask each one of you to briefly tell us a little bit about yourself. Let me start with Michael.
Okay. I'm Michael Austin. I'm a student at Capital University and a youth program coordinator for Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services. And I'm the lead organizer for this year's Youth Summit.
Tigist.
My name is Tigist Desta. I'm a student at Ohio State University, and I work for Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services for a choir.
Rahima.
I'm Ibrahim Sow. I'm the current president of the African Youth United organization at the Columbus chapter. I'm also a third year at the Ohio State University.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Let me start with a phone call. We have an audience. Thanks for responding to our invitation. Caller, are you there?
Hi. Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
I was wondering, how can a student be involved in the community and help out the country or hometown?
Our guest is opening up for the first question. Ibrahim, you want to take? Michael, you want to take?
What was the question?
How do the students participate with your work?
Okay. Okay, Ibrahim.
Well, in terms of me, myself, having time to participate in community service, it's a passion that I have. I'm always looking for different ways to better the community, better the conditions of people, whether it's here or in Africa. And as far as getting people on board with having the same passion as me in community service, it's just leading by example, showing them the good that they can do in their community, helping their families, helping their neighbors, and helping their friends at the same time. And it's so far, it's spreading.
For me, being an international student, I've always needed help. And when I was in high school, I did get that help. So being in college now, I know I have to give back to my community. So I got myself involved in ETSS. I found Ethiopian Tewahedo Social Services through online. And that's something that I do off campus. And then on campus, we have the Habeshan Student Organization that we created to help the students. It's just getting yourself get involved into different community organizations.
Michael?
Well, I started out at ETSS as a volunteer, and it's kind of moved into more of a job since then. But, you know, it's in my community, and it's with a group that needs help and wants help. And, you know, I really respect the people that, you know, I work with, and I really like what I'm doing. So for me, like Ibrahima said, it's just kind of a passion that I have.
Passion, you're having a conference, an youth annual conference. What's the purpose of this conference? I understand the youth, you know, relates to youth stuff, but what is what are you trying to accomplish?
The Youth Summit is a continuation of a program we started last year, and it's kind of the culmination of all of our events that we have throughout the year, and it's designed to address issues of the immigrant and refugee community, both interculturally and intergenerationally. So it doesn't just involve youth, it also involves their parents, you know, issues in terms of self-esteem, community engagement, crime prevention, misunderstandings in the community, and how they can help each other out and better the community as a whole.
How many programs, youth programs, understand the conference, but how many youth programs do you have? And how do you make sure those programs respond to the needs of youth in dealing with different ethnic and different new Americans? Understand your organization works all new Americans. How do you know which program responds? What other programs?
Well, for our youth, we have an after-school program as well as a summer program that we provide additional school support that a lot of students need. We have adult services, including ESOL, translation, interpretation services, and a lot of the clients we get are referrals, and they're from a wide variety of backgrounds, but we also have a staff that is from a wide variety of backgrounds. I mean, at our office, we have, many languages spoken at the same time, both with our staff and with our clients, all at once. So it's kind of more of an overall community than a bunch of separate communities coming together.
Like you said, we have after-school programs and summer youth programs, and I work right now. Currently, I tutor students for after-school programs for high school students and summertime as well.
Okay. I also understand ETSS hosts multiple forums, educational forums and outreach. Can you tell us a little bit about those programs and the forums and the discussions that you have throughout the community?
Yeah, I think, this year, for instance, we hosted United Way Community Conference, and that was kind of an opportunity for different leaders of the communities, different leaders of different ethnic communities to get together, talk to the United Way, and really hash out what needs to be worked on in our community. And this year, it's just the beginning of it, but we're also starting a youth community council, which will help organize the summit, and that will also aim to address some of the issues facing the community, as well as a kind of a debate team. And that will help our high school students mostly prepare for college, prepare to be able to hash out issues that are a problem in the community and use logic, reason, and argument form to answer them. So.
Today, more than ever, we have an opportunity to invest our youth, and our youth to make the same investment to other youth. But not a whole lot of people do that. There are a lot of people who don't have the interest or don't have the time. We would say they don't have the energy, they don't have the time. How do you inspire those who say that to make the same investment as you doing?
Well, firstly, like you said, that the youth are an important part of the community, and I guess without the youth, it's the community would be missing something. And so, with them being an important part of the community and society, it is very important as well to ensure that their conditions are good, that their needs are being met, that their interests are being put forth just like the interests of any other age group. And so just seeing their importance and seeing what they can contribute as well as anyone else, I think that they're hard to marginalize. And so with that thinking, it's a lot of people see that.
Indeed. Last year, I attended the youth conference, and the families were there as well. What role would the family play at the youth conference? You want to take Michael?
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, the conference isn't just aimed at the youth. It's also aimed at helping parents understand their children. That's, from our experience, one of the things that is a pretty constant problem with newly arrived families is there's misunderstandings about, you know, what cultural norms are, you know, how families operate, and a lot of times there's language barriers both in the household and at school, so I guess, you know, it's to help both, you know, the students and the families communicate better.
Almost all new Americans, especially the kids, when they came here, they have a passion and interest and energy to succeed and to be someone. But within a few years, that passion declines. And as a result, we see people not going to schools, criminal activities, dropout rates increases. What happened? What decreases the energy as far as new Americans? Ibrahim, you want to take it?
I feel that when immigrants are first coming here, the idea that someone is considering them and choosing them out of millions of other children around the world to come to the U.S. and have a better life and have all these opportunities, and it feels like their interests are being made a priority. They feel that importance, and they feel obliged to become something bigger and to not repay, but make sure that that effort was not in vain. And when they come here, that kind of investment changes if it doesn't decline. And so they feel that since they're here and they have this mentality of now they are freer to do whatever they want to do, and not knowing that they have a responsibility to themselves, to their families, and to whomever invested that time and effort to bring them here and offer them that better opportunity. I feel that mentality changes as they kind of integrate, and it's a clash of cultures, and they, I guess they get too comfortable.
Tigis, you want to add?
I would say it's when you first come here, it's like you have this vision of that, coming to America, the opportunity place, and then you get used to it, and it's a different culture. So maybe your parents are not following up with you, or you're lost in school. So maybe that might cause the decline.
Indeed. From your own personal youth perspective, what is the main, most held misconception from the immigrants into the mainstream society? Most held misconception.
In terms of us integrating or being able to integrate, that we integrate too fast, or that we lose our way, because we do have a lot of people think that, or look at the youth as troublemakers, which is completely wrong, because I'm not a troublemaker, and we have this idea of that they're irresponsible and they need to be taken care of, and then when we get in trouble, they blame it on us. So I think it's a lack of discipline that.
But some of them get in trouble indeed, right?
No, some of them do get in trouble, but I feel that it is the lack of parent supervision that gets people in trouble. Because if you are at the age of 13 and 14 and you're getting in trouble and you're caught outside at a certain time, honestly, it is your parents' responsibility to ensure that you are safe, that you are not outside at a certain time in certain areas. And that we lack discipline when we certainly can. We have the potential to, but we just need that push from our elders.
Indeed. Tikist, your organization serves so many different ethnic groups. How do you reach out to, in the state of Columbus, we're talking about hundreds of countries, over 100, let me say, in the state are represented. How do you reach out to all those countries? I know you mentioned that you get referrals, but How do you decide, or you focus on African immigrants first and then other new Americans? How does that work?
Our organization is open to all members.
Yeah, it's ETSS is kind of open to anyone that needs help and qualifies for our program. So it's not just African immigrants. We have actually quite a large number of Bhutanese and Nepalese community members, especially on the north side. But yeah, even Russian, Ukrainian. So yeah, it's a wide variety of people, and I think that the backgrounds of our staff really help enforce that. I mean, we have staff from all over the world that speak many different languages, and that helps to kind of get the message out. They reach out to different communities.
So are you saying, though people have different faiths and cultures, you tailored your services according to their needs and expectations?
Yeah.
So you could have you have an individual from their community in your organization. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And Ibrahima,
Yes.
how do you recognize, you mentioned earlier some of them get in trouble. How do you recognize unruly behavior? What are the warning signs?
The warning signs, would I guess being disrespectful to a certain level, because we do, as people with that are strong in culture and in traditions and in religion, there are certain bounds that we cannot pass. For example, like talking back or not saying hi to certain people, and it's just little things that when you're young, people bypass. When you get a little older, then we start to say, this is how you're supposed to act in society. And then when you pass that age, it's no longer your parents' fault. It's just you not following what you're supposed to follow. And it's just little things that we pass or that make a tremendous difference in people's behavior when they grow up.
Tigist, the city of Columbus is so huge, and most of immigrants, I know your office is near the downtown, and you have offices on northeast, on the west side, and the east side, and the south. How do you align your demographic areas where most of the refugees and newcomers live? How do you, as far as transportation, how do you work with them?
We made our offices based on the population of the people that we think are from certain area. I know on the east side a lot of Ethiopian population live, and on the north side the Somali, the Bantu, Nepalese population live, and downtown area is close to almost everyone, and the west side we have a lot of Somali and different cultures and group lives.
The people you serve, different ethnic groups and immigrants, they have their own cultures and religious and faith. Does the culture has anything, what are the challenges that you face according to the things that related to culture? Maybe their connection back home and here, transitioning to the States. What are the most challenging aspects of dealing with them and working with those groups?
Well, I think, a big issue is obviously integration. How to integrate, how to still keep your culture while adapting to American culture and adapting to a new way of life. And, those are issues that our services help them overcome, but also that takes exposure and time, and it most of all takes communication. And I think that's the important part of the Youth Summit that we try to address, is how to communicate with others so that you can keep your culture, you can keep, your heritage, and still integrate and cooperate with others.
Now, the youth conference, what's the official language? How do you have so many countries represented? Most of them have limited English or no English at all. How do you communicate with them?
most of the general sessions are in English. However, and most of the kids speak fairly good English. But especially for the parent sessions, there will be individual translators based upon need. We have last year, the way it kind of functioned was a UN situation where different language groups would be with each other, and while the main speaker was talking, they would be translated into the languages. And if there's need with some of the students that are new arrivals, they'll have translators go with them to the sessions.
Parental educations. You mentioned that. Someone mentioned that. How and it came up that in the first session, first segment. How that the programs, ETSS programs. How do you educate parents? And what do you think, based on the youth activities and problems and challenges that you see on a daily basis? What kind of parental education is missing? Michael?
Well, I think a big thing is to kind of help the parents understand that their kids are growing up in a different environment than they are. They might not be getting the help they need at school. They might, so a lot of it is getting your kids involved and not being too hard on them when they don't meet the expectations of what you have in mind, because there are different cultures, and it's also to recognize the warning signs of when your kid might be going astray, kind of to help pull them back into groups that lead them on the right track. So during the parent sessions, was one of the things that we'll talk about is how to recognize criminal activity, extremism, those kind of fringe behaviors that some kids get into when they don't have anywhere else to turn.
Now, what are the warning signs? Some people, the parents, might not know. I might not have any idea what the warning signs are. How do you? What in your opinion? What should I be looking for?
Obviously, if your student is getting into fights at school, getting in trouble in the neighborhood, getting in trouble with the police, a lot of that can be alleviated by getting involved in programs and reaching out to the community. So,
I guess you want to add something?
The only thing I want to add to what Michael said is to the parents that don't be afraid to get involved into your child's life. Sometimes parents, when they come to America, there are some rules that you have to learn. So they back out to help their kids because they are afraid that whatever they do is against the law. So to the parents, my advice is learn what the laws are and be involved in your child's life.
And also, and I agree with the panelists, and I would just add that the things that we consider taboo to just talk about, and we can't say that someone else knows your child better than you do, because that shouldn't be the case. And so the first signs, or any sign at all, of you of your child doing something wrong should be known by parents. And so they should, just like Tigger said, be more involved and pay more attention, and just know general little things that like interest in things that their children likes, and just small things like that make a huge difference.
Michael, we're running out of time, but in 30 seconds or less, if you have to say a few things about ETSS and an announcement of the conference. When is the conference?
The conference is going to be July 14th. And
July 14th?
Yeah, and it will be at the Police Training Academy.
Police Academy?
Yeah, over on the
July
west
14th.
side.
What times?
It should start at about 10 o'clock, probably 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and we will have speakers, different classroom sessions, and, of course, multi-ethnic lunch, which is everybody's favorite.
Love Ethiopian food. That is the end of our show in the second segment. We'll be back in next month, but please don't forget to join us as we retrace the footsteps of Dr. Martin Luther King on April 10th through 14th as we go to historical heritage tour. You can check us on our website for more information about that at crc.columbus.gov. You can also check us on the Facebook at facebook.com/Columbus Community Relations Commission. And that is the end of our show. Thanks for watching and thank you for joining us, and have a great night.